John Mack of the Urban League, you walk these streets in South Central Los Angeles, a multicultural place, to be sure. 50% unemployment among our youth. Not one plant has been built in the last year. Homelessness, inadequate housing. The president's assessment of this as a test of our diversity. Is this struggle nearly about diversity?
Well, to some extent, but I think it's a bigger struggle, Jesse. I think this struggle is about justice. And this verdict today, hopefully, represents a first step in that direction. It's not an end, it's a beginning. I hope it sends out a message to not only those officers, Coon and Powell, but to law enforcement throughout, that you can't wear a badge and a gun and just brutalize people. Beyond that, I think and I hope that it will begin to restore some of the lost credibility of the system. But we really got to get the bigger challenge now. I hope we can put the trial behind us and really begin to get on a bigger agenda that we have to address.
Attorney Hill, so much focus was on law and order and more police and more Marines and more National Guards and more BCOM, more they're going to shoot, more people buying, more and all of that. Did the issue of law and order wipe out the deeper concern of jobs and justice?
I think it overshadowed it in the media, but not in the community, I don't think. You know, the issue of law and order has been used as a rallying call to ignore, shunt off resources, set aside the real priorities. Think about it. If we really dealt with the underlying causes,
which
I see as poverty, which I see as joblessness, which I see as the lack of funding for our public education systems, which I see as a lack of funding for our health resources. If we dealt with those things, there wouldn't be a need for more police, more jails,
but
more prisons.
The president's comment was not one word about jobs and justice and health care and multilingual challenges. It was about diversity. But did it even have anything to do with what you know the big street life of L.A.?
No, it didn't. And, you know, what's been going on in Los Angeles is a phenomenon that I don't know if this country's ready to take on. I was sharing with a lot of people today the riots of Los Angeles that we were having today. And it was a question of dignity. It was a question of communities trying to find their self-worth, just trying to work together, hand in hand. See, nobody knows the image of the coalitions that are being built in spite of the media.
Describe them.
Well, the Korean-American community and the Latino community, the African-American community, leadership is working together.
The women's community is coming
all of us were aware that we have a problem in the city that has to be solved, and it's like nobody else is aware of what the problem really is. And the problem is letting someone be what they want to be, giving people opportunities, get an education, get a job, have some decent housing, live no different than other communities.
Well, in as much as the President, John, focused on this issue of this is an affirmation, proof that we have diversity, as opposed to these issues. If that be the case, if the President did not make a statement today about justice, Attorney General Reno coming, he didn't make a statement about what you were talking about, does that mean that today's verdict represents a temporary relief as opposed to a remedy?
Absolutely, yeah. Today's verdict doesn't solve all the problems. It's just a pebble in the ocean. What I would hope that the President would begin talking about and pushing forcefully is his jobs bill that's now being held hostage in the Senate and not caving in to the Republicans who are filibustering. We need 90,000 jobs to cure the unemployment problem in Los Angeles.
How many have been created?
About 5,000.
Has Rebuild L.A. failed?
Rebuild L.A. is struggling. There's no doubt about it.
5,000 jobs.
They, by their own estimates, say they need anywhere from 50 to 90,000 jobs to stabilize the economy here in Southern California.
What's missing in the
3 to 5,000 is what they've accomplished by their own numbers. What's missing is there's been no commitment really made to Los Angeles. I think that the sector that they're working with, which is the corporate sector, was not going to make a commitment before today, before these verdicts were announced, before the world had the opportunity to see how is Los Angeles going to respond. You understand that the federal courthouse had 15 nations represented, over 200 press passes issued. The world, not just the country, is watching L.A.
The media plan.
The world.
So that was a media plan, that is a police plan, a Marine plan, a National Guard plan. But was there a justice and job plan to take us beyond the state commander?
No, there wasn't, and nobody really has that plan in place yet. You're one of the few people who's been talking about that plan. See, the reality is, and I think I've learned a lot from your politics, and I want to be upfront about it, because the self-interest of our communities right now is to get the opportunities, the choices that we're seeing everybody else has. But we have to now take control of that agenda. And when I say that, it's, with the communities. I mean, we can choose what products to buy.
But you know, what was interesting about this thing, Hernandez, was that the TV project Blacks Enraged, Koreans buying guns.
Arming themselves.
And the fact is, the community is 55% Latino.
Right, and we're the quiet ones, and we don't exist.
And so what are you going to do about it?
What I'm going to do about it is I'm going to keep letting people know that in Los Angeles, we don't have participatory democracy. I'm going to share with people that you have the equivalent of 4 council districts, 996,000 people, who don't even have the right to vote. Some of them have been here for 20 years, paying taxes, having children who are in the Marines, have the right to be here, but the system doesn't allow them to be citizens.
But you see, the reason why I think you guys got to address the media in some sense is that this is South Central L.A., unlike 25 years ago when the Kerner report came out, it's 55% Latino. Most of the arrested last year were Latino. 2,000 were deported, and then blacks, and then Asians, and then white. A number of stores burned their stores down to get insurance. None of these complexities have come out.
Jesse, what we have to do, at least in addressing the media, I think, is to have them begin focusing on real people with real problems. You and I were in Avalon Gardens housing project today. We saw human beings. We saw mothers, little children who just want a better way of life, not all people who are arming themselves to go into Beverly Hills and Bel Air to shoot people.
Or people with missiles,
right.
as there were rumors about.
What must be done? I mean, if the White House is looking right now. Okay. I can assure you that the Stephanovs, they're looking right now.
Number one.
What can they do? 1, 2, 3. What can they do?
Here is the first thing. I want them to be conscious of the fact that the world is watching Los Angeles and this country because of the question of democracy. Does it work? It is the only system that has been left standing, correct? Now, the true test of that system was really brought to a head here in L.A. Be conscious of that.
If Clinton comes out next week, what do you want him to do?
I want him to commit to Los Angeles in a way that we have not seen him commit yet.
As in?
As in, pay attention to the immediate problems. Work on the long term. We've got some problems with SBA and FEMA. What is so hard about setting up a panel to resolve the disputes around that relief effort that the federal government supposedly
John,
push his jobs bill without compromise. I understand 50,000 jobs are in that package for Los Angeles. We need those jobs. We don't need one job fewer. Beyond that,
yesterday they would compromise for fewer jobs and add $200 million more for police.
This is not the time. We don't need to build up a military. What we need is to take care of human needs. We need jobs. We need justice. And I believe that Ron Brown, as the president's point man, is capable, is sensitive, is tuned in, but he's going to need to have the administration fully committed, and they're going to have to be willing to take on a fight, if need be, with those in the Senate and unleash that bill right away so that we can get some jobs, and also to set another tone and say to America that this is a new day and we're going to put together an urban plan for all people.
Hernandez, when we come back, we're going to talk about, we must take a little break now, about this shift of focus now from law and order to jobs and justice, literally from the courthouse to the White House. We'll be right back to talk about the next stage of this struggle. We'll be right back.
To celebrate Buick's 90th anniversary, we proudly introduce the 90th anniversary LeSabre. LeSabre has a proven reputation for quality and the highest pre-sale value in its class. Now you get all this Buick quality, comfort, and elegance at a special anniversary price. The 90th anniversary Buick LeSabre. Quality its competition just can't hold a candle to.
It happens every morning in London. Paris and Madrid. Just as the city starts to stir. In Munich, Manchester, Zurich, and Brussels, just as the business day begins. In 13 European cities in 9 different countries, as the new day arrives, so do we. American Airlines. With over 200 non-stop flights a week to Europe, from cities across the U.S. So if you have business in Europe, fly there on the airline that can get you to your business as early as tomorrow morning. American Airlines. Something special to Europe.
As Los Angeles tries to preserve civic peace, other cities seek solutions to their own problems. I'm Frank Sesno. Metropolitan mayors will discuss expensive problems and limited resources on Newsmaker Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow.
We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Theodore J. Briseno, not guilty of violating Title 18, the willful use of excessive force. Not guilty on the first element of the charge against Ted Briseno. And in the second element, not guilty of aiding and abetting in the use of excessive force. There you have it, Paul.
Okay, reaffirm on Briseno, not guilty on both charges of both parts of the count, right?
Correct.
All right, stay with us, Bill. Stacey Cruz has been found guilty of willful excessive force. Lawrence Powell has been found guilty of willful excessive force.
These are the eyes of children with cancer. Look past the pain, the fear, the shattered innocence. Look deep, and you will find these eyes full of strength and remarkable hope. Because these are the eyes of the children of St. Jude. Over 30 years ago, my father, Danny Talmas, founded St. Jude Children's Research Hospital to help children stricken with cancer. Today, St. Jude is the world-renowned center for the research and treatment of diseases that kill children.
I have leukemia. It was a tumor in my stomach, and it had spread to my liver and my pancreas.
By contributing just $16 a month, you can become a St. Jude Partner in Hope and help provide the treatments these children depend on so desperately to survive.
I come here because this is my hospital.
You'll help parents travel to St. Jude to be with their children. And most important, you'll be helping to find a cure so that one day cancer will no longer be a threat to any child.
It takes everything you have to get well, and that positive attitude is just, you have to have it or you won't get through it all.
Won't you please become a St. Jude Partner in Hope? All it takes is $16 a month. That's just 53 cents a day. As a monthly donor, you'll receive news about the children you'll be helping. Your contribution is tax deductible and so urgently needed. If you'd rather make a one-time contribution, please give as much as you can. You can even charge your gift. But please, call now.
It's all right to cry, because cancer is a scary thing.
Look into the eyes of the children of St. Jude. Then look into your heart. Please call now.
At St. Jude, no one is ever turned away because they can't afford to pay. Help us keep that promise. You can even charge your gift. Call now, 1-800-453-5400.
Welcome back. Talking about Los Angeles. What happened here today, what did not happen here, and how to rebuild and restore this city. Councilman Hernandez, do you know of a plan, a development plan the White House has beyond this verdict today?
No, I don't. And the reality is nobody's going to be able to leap the tall buildings in the single bound anymore. That was in the days of the 30s. Nobody's listening to the neighborhoods, what they need. Like, nobody's aware that there was 107,000 small businesses in the riot area. 84% of them with less than one employee. They were small businesses. It doesn't take a lot to remove obstacles for people to grow by one employee. That creates 64,000 jobs. Nobody's talking about the reality that now the city of Los Angeles is an emerging majority. There's 40% Latino, 16% African American, 12% Asian. That is the majority. We no longer have to go to competitive bid to get things cheaper from other countries and other cities when we can get them cheaper here by just hiring here.
Well, then the Secretary of Commerce, Ron Brown, came out as the point man for the White House. Did you discuss a small business plan with him?
We didn't have that opportunity. It was more of an introduction. And we haven't had the discussions. You see, in the city of L.A., there's 40 elementary schools that are closed.
How many?
40. And we have, in the inner city, elementary schools with 2,000 kids plus and no junior high school to send them to.
Is that why, John, that 40% of the youth in kindergarten here will not finish high school?
That is a contribution.
I think it's clearly one of the big problems in the educational arena. That's a biggie. Our L.A. Unified School District needs major reform. We need to have leadership from the federal government level. Let me move on to pick up on the other point. I think that one of the important challenges that the administration faces now is to come forward with a comprehensive plan to address the problems of the poor, the problems of urban America. The Community Development Bank idea is an interesting sounding concept, but we need it to become a reality.
Now, you walked the streets with him last year during his campaign. He did have a town hall meeting in Chillicothe, Ohio, with the people about their input and plans. Yes. Does he propose to have a town hall meeting for Los Angeles?
Not that I'm aware of, but I think that's an excellent idea. I know it's one that some of us have had some discussions around. I would certainly urge the president to, at the very earliest date, to hold a town hall meeting in Los Angeles, not out in suburbia, but in the heart of the city, so that he can come with the people and hear what their needs are, and more importantly, come up with a game plan to address these issues.
Angelo, since you continue to suggest that this today is relief, but not remedy, you're so deeply involved in this. What would you see as 2 or 3 things he could do now to help LA and to help other urban cities?
I think that one of the things he could do is take this plan that he's got for Russia and modify it for this country. If we can think about children, education, the development of enterprise in the Soviet Union, we can think about it here in the United States, and more specifically in Los Angeles, in a very specific way. We should have this town hall meeting where people, there's something for the federal government to learn out of this disaster that happened in Los Angeles, and they have not sent anyone out here to assess it. It
becomes a way to kind of turn pain to power.
Into power.
I want to thank my guests, Angela O., John Mack, and Mike Hernandez. We'll be back with a former gang member and an L.A. cop. Don't go away.
I wish my son could live a full, healthy life where he felt rewarded and was always learning.
Encyclopedia Britannica presents a parent's wish list.
I think it's every parent's dream maybe to have a doctor in the family.
I think what I want is the best education she can get.
I would like her to be successful in what she perceives as success.
Every parent has a wish list for their child, and with the help of the new Encyclopedia Britannica, many of those wishes can come true. Encyclopedia Britannica is the finest home learning program in the world. A 32-volume family reference library that will give your child an important advantage all through the school years and help make every good thing you wish for your child come true.
I'd like for them to be productive, to be helpful.
To get more information on the new Encyclopedia Britannica, call for this free color booklet now. And just for previewing Encyclopedia Britannica in your home, you'll get this handsome 3-volume desk reference set as a free gift.
I want them to go to college. That's my biggest dream, and make something out of themselves.
You can begin to fulfill the hopes and dreams for your child's future with just one phone call. So call now.
Our wishes are that he just lives up to the potential that he has.
I want my kids to be happy, and I think happiness comes through freedom of choice. And I believe education is the key to that.
For your free Encyclopedia Britannica information booklet, call now. 1-800-544-5600.
Tonight, fears that riots in L.A. will be repeated has brought an army of reporters and cameras to the city. Is the press covering or creating those fears? Media Madness on CNN's Reliable Sources, 9:30 p.m. Eastern tonight.
A
now briefly 007 reasons to watch James Bond Wednesday. Thank you for your patience. It's Wednesday night double features. James Bond Wednesday. Every Wednesday on TBS.
Welcome to the program, Tony Bogard. You were once a gang member. Now you're working to keep peace in the city. And Dennis Zine is sergeant with the L.A. Police Department and a candidate for the city council. Mr. Zine, I was here 25-plus years ago when L.A. exploded, and youth were marching, declaring they were going to keep blowing up. They were going to kill. They were coming in with real aggression. Now the gangs determined that they're going to have a truce. They're going to take a lead and stop the killing. You seem not to be satisfied with that.
Oh, I'm absolutely satisfied with that. And I've been on the police department for 25 years.
You support the truth?
Absolutely, I support the truth. And the men and women of the police department support the truth, along with our chief, Willie Williams. We don't want violence in the communities. No one wants violence in the communities. And Tony and I had a brief conversation before coming on. We have a lot of similarities in the concept of what this community needs. Tony, a former gang member, has seen the oppression, has been victim of the oppression. As a police representative, as a police officer, as a sergeant, I used to work in 77th Street Division. I've seen what happened since the Watts riot. Basically nothing except more exodus.
So you think the truth is working?
I know the truth is working. Absolutely the truth is working. I'm not offended by people saying that it's working. It is working, and we support that. And we want peace and harmony in this community. And what offends me is the lack of leadership that has created a problem that has gotten out of control. And when we have to take a jury and sequester a jury and not release their names and have this type of environment and bite our nails waiting for a verdict, that is not peace and harmony in the community.
Since you guys began the truth more than a year ago, what kind of record do you have?
Like what kind of record do I have?
In terms of the success of it, what kinds of things have happened?
I've accomplished a whole lot, Mr. Jackson, since last year. I mean, since I've been participating in the gang, truth and working with my brother, a whole lot of doors been opened up for me that I have not never been opened up before in my life. I mean, you know, I've been doing a lot of different things.
And for example, has the number of killings gone down?
Almost definitely have not been a murder in our community since last year, gang-related. And why? It haven't been a murder.
Does this easy access to guns? We've seen on TV a lot of brandishing of people buying AK-47s and Uzis and getting more bullets. Does that tempt the gangs to get involved in the process?
No, it don't. It don't. It's not me and not for my homeboys. It don't make us want to get involved because we've been involved in that all our lives, Mr. Jackson. I mean, so it's not nothing new to us. So no, it don't attempt us or nothing to participate in nothing. We lay down.
So really, Zion, as a police sergeant and as running for city council, what kind of things can Tony's group do, for example, to gain the trust of the police department?
They can do a tremendous amount to help us. And what we want to do is help the community. Our programs within the police department are designed to prevent crime. And we can work with the youth. And we find poverty in South Central Los Angeles as throughout the city of Los Angeles. And we find that when we have a truce, and there's a true gang truce, and they are willing to sit down at the table and negotiate, one thing we need is fewer weapons on the street. What we have in this city now is everyone's armed themselves to the teeth, waiting for a potential disaster.
Tony, what do the cops need to do to gain the trust of the gangs?
The police need to communicate with the community. See, we have a lot of police that come in and like want to pick with us and start problems with us instead of like trying to talk to us and get to know us. That's what the police need to do, to start communicating with the brothers.
Has there been any difference since Willie Williams came?
Yes, it's been a lot different.
What kind of things has he done?
Just what I was saying about the police communicating. I had a police pull me over the other night in my community, and he was wanting to know how could he get involved, you know, from seeing me on different kind of talk shows. He wanted to know how could he help, how could he participate. And I told him, you know, you gotta come down to the community and talk to the brother. Let the brother know that you're not the enemy. Because, see, that's the problem. The police been plagued in our community as an enemy for years, all our life.
Zion, what happened in the Gates administration that made the people be perceived as enemies in the community?
The people, what people are you referring to? The community?
The people. I mean, in other words, when you listen to the kind of thing that Coon said, and the way the police behaved, obviously that is a mentality, a point of view, a system that was finally faced conviction today. What happened during that time to give police that attitude toward the community?
Well, I think that Chief Gates and his department in that era is different than what we have in Chief Williams.
Just a year ago, I mean, what was happening?
Well, it's
25 years after Martin Luther King Jr.
Absolutely. You know? And Chief Gates was with the police department for 43 years. And what happened in many cases is Chief Gates was not informed by his command staff of what was happening. A lot of things were filtered from Chief Gates. And what I have found with Chief Williams, which is a new administration, a new philosophy.
You know, you are suggesting that a palace guard around him just made him behave in the ways he did. I mean, how does that feel out in the community, Tony?
Mr. Jackson, the police, I ain't going to say all police, but a lot of police is very, very corrupt in the community. A lot of police is very, very corrupt in the community. They be putting drugs on people, beating people down. All this going in the police department, what they do on to us. You know what I mean? And
is it kind of changing now? Is that the point? Is that the hope?
Yeah, it's changing because it seems like the attitude of the police is changing. Maybe because it's the new chief. Maybe it's a black chief.
But the change is coming.
The change is coming.
Let me express thanks to you, Tony, to you, Mr. Zion. Today we find a sense of relief but not remedy. This crisis is not just Los Angeles only. Its entire country is engulfed by it. This really is a wake-up call for America. The jury has given us a reprieve, but not a resolution. Let's now work to end the violence and to save the children and to regain a sense of justice and jobs and development in our nation. This is a tremendous moment to turn crisis into opportunity and peace and crisis and chaos into real order and development. Let's turn pain to power. Keep hope alive. This is Jesse Jackson. Thank you very much for participating.
For a transcript, send $5 to Journal Graphics Incorporated, 1535 Grand Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203. Or call 303-831-9000.